Welcome to the class. Today I am going to discuss one of the very important chapter in biochemistry, that is biological oxidation and bioenergetics. As I have already discussed earlier, that our whole system, that is the human body, organelles, cells, tissues, all are nothing but reactions, combinations of reactions. So these reactions means there is some requirement and release of energy, and these whole reactions depends on the thermodynamics, which is evident in the environment as well as in our system also. So with these few words, I am going to give you the concepts of bioenergetics and biological oxidation. So what is bioenergetics? This whole thing deals with the transfer and utilization of energy in biological system. So how the energy is transferred from one molecule to another molecule, and how that energy is utilized. As you know, we take foods from outside and that food gives us energy, and from that energy we carried out different reactions and stored certain energies in our system. So how this is stored? The free energy is the useful energy in the system. Wherever change in the free energy, there is some reactions which is purposeful. Now biologic reactions conform to the general laws of thermodynamics. Whenever a reaction has to be happened, these laws definitely has to be maintained. That is delta G, that is the free energy, is equal to delta H minus T delta S. Delta G is the change in the free energy, the energy available to do work. The approaches zero as reaction proceeds in equilibrium. When the reaction is in equilibrium, that means no further forward reaction is carrying out, it approaches zero and predicts whether a reaction is favorable or not. So if delta G is not negative, the reaction will never be forward, never be spontaneous. So all reactions to happen, there should be the amount of the delta G to be negative. Now, what is delta H? It is the change in the enthalpy, that is the heat released or absorbed during a reaction, the total heat, and does not predict whether a reaction is forwarded. So it does not determine the direction of the reactions. But delta is very important. This means the change in the entropy, the kinetics, the measures of randomness. So does not predict whether a reaction is forward or not, but that also plays a very important role to make a reaction spontaneous, because whenever free energy is given, the kinetics is increased, and the increased kinetics gives this delta G negative. T delta S, whenever it is increased, the delta G will be negative. So that means the reaction will be carried out and forwarded. So whenever a reaction has to be happened for the purpose of cellular system, the delta G must be negative. That is the basic rules of thermodynamics that is applicable in the environment as well as in our own system. Next please. So in our system there are basically two types of reactions, synthetic and degradation. some reactions carried out by degrading and release of the energy, and some reactions are carried out by utilizing those reactions. How? The exergonic reactions, mainly the pathway of degradation, you will find lot of exergonic reactions when energy is released. If delta G is negative, spontaneous reaction happen with loss of free energy, and if delta G is positive, I have already told, reaction proceeds only if free energy can be gained. That is the endergonic reactions. That is the energy is required. So both type of reactions is required. We require synthetic reaction, we require to build glycogen from our glucose, extra glucose store, and also required to break down glycogen to form glucose whenever required. So in both the case, a group of exergonic and endergonic reactions happen, and this is most of the time coupled. So how this is coupled? This is the free energy and this is the chemical energy. So many exergonic and endergonic reactions are coupled that you will find in whole biochemistry metabolism that you are going to learn. Next please. So here try to concentrate on this particular diagram. You see here reaction A to B and there is a reaction C to D. Now in A to B the energy is released and C to D that energy is utilized. So exergonic and endergonic reactions are coupled here. So exergonic and endergonic reactions are coupled in biologic systems through ATP, adenosine triphosphate, or there are other triphosphate as well, CTP, GTP, but mainly adenosine triphosphate. They are the energy currency. The adenosine triphosphate are produced in our body by capturing the energy which is utilized whenever there is some energy is required. So you see there are a lot of reactions where exergonic reactions are carried out like oxidation in the biological system. The final oxidation step we are going to learn in the next class and subsequent classes, and also we will discuss here the system of biological oxidation. And this energy is utilized for synthetic purposes like muscular construction, contraction, nerve conduction, active transport. So all this type of reaction require energy which is released from the ATP, and this ATP is synthesized as a result of this oxidation in the biological system. So to make it further clear, you have to know high energy phosphates play a central role in energy capture and transfer. High energy phosphates, mainly ATP, act as the energy currency of the cells. Whenever ATP is stored, we can always supply energy for some reactions to happen. And ATP allows the coupling of thermodynamically unfavorable reactions to favorable ones. So that you will learn in the subsequent steps that how ATP is utilized. Suppose glucose has to be converted to glucose 6-phosphate. This is thermodynamically not possible because this is not a spontaneous reaction. Because of these are kind of endergonic reactions. So require some exergonic reaction to be coupled. ATP is hydrolyzed to ADP plus Pi. So energy released from 1 ATP is almost 7.4 kilocalorie. So that free energy is utilized to make glucose to glucose 6-phosphate. So this way the reaction which was not favorable being made spontaneous and forwarded by the coupling of the reaction from ATP hydrolysis. So this is why ATP is very important in our body. How ATP is synthesized and how it is utilized, that is the main concepts in the biological oxidation and bioenergetics. Next please. So before we going to learn how ATP is synthesized in our body, we should know how the foodstuffs are ultimately oxidized. What are the different types way of oxidation happens in our body? So we go to the basics, elementary physics, where what is the definition of oxidation? Oxidation is the removal of electron, and subsequently reduction is the gain of electron. So here Fe2 plus, it is reduced, but it is oxidized when electron is removed. Fe3 up to Fe3 plus. So oxidation always accompanied by reduction of an electron acceptor. This is a mandatory. Oxidation reduction is always simultaneously carried out, and different enzymes are responsible for this type of reactions. They are grouped as oxidoreductases. Probably you have gone through your enzyme classification and you should know that. Now of this oxidoreductases group, there are 4 types of enzymes. One are oxidases, another dehydrogenases, another hydroperoxidases, another oxygenases. That means we will give examples of all these categories. Now what are oxidases? Oxidase use oxygen as the hydrogen acceptor. You can find out certain pathways where directly oxygen molecule is going to accept electron. Now this is very much evident in our respiratory chain of final oxidation. Our oxygen is the electron acceptor finally going through the different ways of oxidation from the foodstuffs to the intermediates, to the reducing equivalents like NAD, NADH2 and FADH2. So they are ultimately oxidized by oxygen, for which we require oxygen in our cell. Every cell requires oxygen because they are the final electron acceptor. In some species, some other bacteria, you may find other molecules of oxygen acceptor, like sulfur bacteria utilizes sulfur, like nitrogen fixing bacteria utilizes nitrogen as a final electron acceptor, because electron has to be moved like electrical energy. Electron has to be moved to generate energy, and that energy is captured in the form of ATP. We will gradually get our concept into this matter. So first, oxidases are the oxygen as the hydrogen acceptor, like cytochrome. You will find in the electron transport chain. We are going to discuss in the next class. Cytochrome oxidases, L-amino acid oxidases, though have very few roles. Xanthine oxidases and glucose oxidase. This is actually not present in our body. This is extracted from the bacteria which is utilized for our laboratory. The glucose oxidase method is used very commonly to measure the concentration of the glucose. So they utilizes oxygen directly, oxygen molecule as a electron acceptor. Next. Now dehydrogenases. They are the mainstay of the oxidative system, biological oxidation system in our body. Right from glycolysis to all other chapters, you will find these dehydrogenases. These dehydrogenases gives us different stair of reducing equivalents. So dehydrogenases by which what happens? Cannot use O2 as hydrogen acceptor. Transfer hydrogen from one substrate to another in coupled oxidation reduction reactions. NADH2 to NAD plus, FADH2 to FAD plus. So hydrogen is removed, and that is the main way we find in different metabolic pathway we are giving lot of reducing equivalents which are finally oxidized in the respiratory chain. So that is the major way of oxidation in our system. And specific for these enzymes are specific for specific substrate like succinate dehydrogenase, malate dehydrogenase. So they are specific and often utilize same coenzyme NAD plus I have told you or FAD plus as hydrogen carrier. So NAD takes hydrogen. Hydrogen is removed from the NADH2 to get back to NAD plus when it is oxidized. Third category is the hydroperoxidases. They use H2O2 or an organic peroxide as substrate. Lipid peroxidases. Catalase, that is also a peroxidase. So they utilize and remove the H2O2 or hydroperoxide or other peroxide and reduce peroxides using various electron acceptors like H2O2 plus AH2 converted to 2H2O plus A. So then this way THAM reactions happen and they are mainly protective in our body because H2O2 can damage because this is a highly reactive molecules that has to be neutralized. So this type of reactions happen in our protective way or antioxidative groups of enzymes usually shows this type of reactions. Next. Lastly, oxygenases. Here catalyze direct transfer of oxygen and incorporation of O2 in a substrate molecule. Monooxygenases, dioxygenases, you will find the molecular atomic oxygens are being utilized and directly being attached with the particular substrate. You will find in the xenobiotics, you will find lot of in other pathways as well. So the monooxygenases incorporate only one atom of O2, microsome cytochrome P450 that is involved in the xenobiotics metabolism is important, very important that you will learn in that chapter. So next please. So with this concept that the biological system depends on various reactions, some endergonic reactions, some exergonic reactions, and these reactions are carried out by transfer and utilization of energy. And ATP basically is the mainstay which is the energy currency. Whenever exergonic reaction has to happen, that particular energy released is captured in the form of energy. We will learn this chapter in our biological oxidation and electron transport chain, and that particular ATP is utilized in various other endergonic reactions where ATP hydrolysis gives us energy. And there are other high energy phosphates as well which can also be utilized in the different pathways. That you will learn in your next chapters. So respiratory chain collects and oxidize Oxidase is reducing equivalence. That I have told you, reducing equivalence means the particular molecules which can be reduced, like NADH2, FADH2, FADH plus H plus. Why it is H plus written? Because that one particular H plus is not joined with the NADH group of molecules. That you will learn in detail later. But FADH2 is there. Components of respiratory chain are arranged in order of increasing redox potential. We are going to discuss that in the next class. Now here you can see that our energy is mainly basically generated in the powerhouse of the cell, like as we told earlier, the mitochondria. And the mitochondria, where there is oxidative phosphorylation and electron transport chain is there. Both electron transport chain means that electron is passes through that chain, and ultimately the electron is transferred to the oxygen molecule, who is the final oxygen electron acceptor. So moving of electron from this end to that end gives rise energy, which is captured in the form of oxidative phosphorylation, and that phosphorylation gives us lot of ATPs to generate it. Now where is the electron transport chain situated? It is situated in the mitochondrial membrane. It is the mitochondria, which is double inner membrane outside, and this is outer and inner membrane. In the inner membrane there are some complexes known as respiratory chain complex that you will find in more detail in the coming chapters, and these are, there are carriers actually, and this is the matrix of the mitochondria. This is the outer membrane. So ETC converts food energy to ATP. So whatever we take as a food, that food is first digested, make it simplified from the macromolecules to simple biomolecules, and that is further utilized in our body by absorption and by various way of degradation like glycolysis, and ultimately it is transferred to mitochondria in the form of NADH plus H plus or FADH2. These are the reducing equivalents which ultimately being utilized in the through the electron transport chain to be oxidized and giving rise to some energy, and then energy is captured in the form of ATP. So this is the whole concept. Thank you. This is the concept that you know. The carbohydrate protein fat I have already told you, and this is the intermediary metabolism, and this will give rise to a lot of reducing equivalents like this, and they are utilized in the respiratory chain. So please go through your books and try to understand this concept. Thank you very much.